Hey YouTube world, harvest is plenty. Hope all is well. I'm glad to be back again to speak with you guys and share some more information that could possibly help you or those you care about. And so before I was so rudely suspended by YouTube for whatever mess they have going on, trying to knock me out the box, I was working on a video about water survival because of the situation that was happening in Jackson, Mississippi. And I want to continue with that. But since then, a situation developed also in Baltimore City. So we're going to take a look at that, and I will come back with some solutions and answers to you guys of how to possibly survive a water crisis. So let's go to Jackson, Mississippi first.
More than 150,000 people are waiting for water in a major American city, a state capital, Jackson, Mississippi. Tonight, families there cannot be sure their toilets will flush, that there's enough water to brush their teeth, to shower, even send their kids to school. Instead, they spent the day in lines for hours to get one case of water until the water ran out. And after spending their day like this in 90-degree temperatures, many were turned away from the distribution event at Hawkins Airfield. Now, the director of the State Emergency Management says that 7 distribution sites will be set up by Thursday. In the meantime, people turn to stores where the shelves are nearly bare.
It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating to have to fight for some water. You know what I'm saying? You got to mess around, buy 5 cases of water just to stay hydrated.
It's just kind of scary because we don't know if anything's going to get done or when it's going to get done.
After work, I get off late and you come in the store and it's empty.
Water we're talking about. Let's back up and talk about how we got here. Moderate flooding in Jackson, Mississippi crippled the city's largest water facility.
And now here's the situation in Baltimore City.
People living in parts of West Baltimore, as well as Baltimore and Howard counties, are being encouraged to boil their water until further notice after Baltimore's DPW says it found E. coli contaminants in a recent water sample. WMAR2 News' Abby Isaacs joins us live from DPW's headquarters in downtown Baltimore with this story. So, Abby, how is the city responding to this problem?
Well, they were out yesterday distributing bottles of water, and they'll be out doing that again today to all the impacted areas of the city. It's mainly West Baltimore, impacting 1,500 commercial and residential facilities in that area. They have expanded it, though, to surrounding counties, Howard and Baltimore, parts of those areas. Even though test results in those areas were negative, they're just doing it out of an abundance of caution. Now, this was part of a routine water sampling that DPW found E. coli bacteria in samples taken Friday from a fire department and 2 police department facilities in the neighborhoods of Sandtown, Winchester, and Harlem Park. Staff were out Monday distributing bottled water and telling residents about what was going on. As quick fixes, DPW is flushing the system, increasing chlorination, and asking impacted residents to boil their water for 1 minute before use to kill the bacteria. They're also retesting the water and sampling from other locations that previously tested negative while working to find the source of the contamination.
So guys, it really sucks to be caught up in that situation. I really feel for the residents of Jackson, Mississippi and for Baltimore. Also, I would really hate is a strong word, but I really wouldn't want to see you guys, my listeners, my supporters, my subscribers, go through the situation, because you guys should be prepared for this, or at least hope, if you aren't already, that you will get prepared for this. Some people just keep pushing it down the side. Pushing it to the side, kicking the can down the road, thinking that this will never happen to me. I think that's a reason why a lot of people never prepare for things, because in their mind, they say things like, it would never happen to me. It would never happen to my city, to my town, to my county, to my state. It just won't happen. But things do happen. Everything is not about terrorism a lot of times. There's sometimes hurricanes. There's something called tornadoes. There's something called earthquakes. There's some things that happen. There's flooding that may cause an otherwise clean water source that you may have access to, will cause it to become contaminated, damaged, or cut off. And so let's talk about some of these things. and see how we can better prepare ourselves and our family to survive a water crisis. So first, let's talk about water storage. And also, I'm not an expert at this. I'm just like you. I'm a normal, everyday, average guy. I've stored some things, I've done a little training, I've read some books, and I'm just sharing with you the little knowledge that I know, but I am far from an expert. So I'm not an expert, and I'm not holding myself out to be an expert. I just want to share with you what I'm doing for myself and the little knowledge that I did pick up along the way. That's all. So water storage, when it comes to water storage, make sure that you have water first and foremost. For those of you guys who don't have water, why? I mean, you could buy water for what, $3, $4, $5. Inflation kicked in, so maybe $5, $6, or $7. But you can still run down to Sam's Club, BJ's, Costco, your local grocery store, the corner store, the dollar store, and you can pick up some water and store, a couple cases at your house. Of course, when you store water, make sure you store it in a cool, dark place. You don't want it to be hit by sunlight often, because the more sun that hits it, the green algae will start forming and it's going to damage the water, contaminate it a little bit. But water storage, make sure that you have enough water, whether it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, or whatever, because you need water to buy yourself some time. If not, you're going to be standing in line like these people, waiting for the Red Cross or the National Guard or, whoever worked with Office of Emergency Management to hand you a case and say, all right, this is all you get for today. Because remember, during an emergency, you need water for drinking, cooking, cleaning, and also sanitation. I will repeat that again. Drinking, cooking, cleaning, and sanitation. So do you have enough water for those things? To, drinking, of course, we know what drinking is. Cooking, we know what that is. You may need to clean some things. Sanitation, which includes not just flushing the toilet, but what about if you got to clean your body? Maybe bathe or shower, or if you got kids or whatever case may be. Also, don't forget about your pets. If you have some pets, the pet's going to need water too. So you need to have some clean drinking water for your pets. So in addition to storing water bottles, you can look for the large blue storage containers. Just Google it. Search on the internet and you'll be able to find water storage containers. There's also these little blue water bricks that you can fill up their hard food degradable plastic bricks. You can fill them up in water and they're easily stackable versus having a big old large barrel sitting in your living room or under you, in the corner in your basement or somewhere. So just look for those types of things. Also, as I was taught as a kid growing up, my parents used to say, hey, a hurricane is coming. Make sure you fill up the bathtub and all the sinks with water. So that also could be a viable option for people. For some people who, are winging it and on a budget and just don't have money, do you have milk jugs? Clean out the old milk jugs, like milk containers or, orange juice containers. Those are food grade containers. Clean that stuff out, and fill it up with water, stick it back in the refrigerator or something. So there's different ways that you guys can store water. You just got to have a willingness to do it. Or, as I said, you might find yourself out, at the mercy of FEMA or the Red Cross or somebody trying to hand you water because you felt that it was unimportant for you to store. Next, let's talk about water source and collection. So, have you located a water source in your neighborhood? Some people never thought about that, but that's important that you go out, find water sources in your neighborhood, whether it's a pond, a stream, a brook, a lake, a river, or whatever. Do you know where a water source is located at near your house? I've personally identified over 5 different water sources. And so if I can't get any water and if my water sources are running dry, I know 5 different places that I could go and collect water from. Take some time this weekend or next weekend or whenever. Jump on your bicycle or when you're jogging through your neighborhood. If you do jog through your neighborhood, see if you located any water sources that you could access in case you need emergency water. Also think about if you cannot drive your car, Can you get to that water source on your bicycle or on feet if you have to walk and carry, the water back? Is that feasible for you? So just different things just to think about. I'm just trying to give you guys some ideas. Also, rainwater. When it rains, you guys can collect rainwater. I do know some jurisdictions is considered illegal, which is stupid to me, but some places it's illegal to collect rainwater. I don't know. Do what you got to do. So all I can say is do what you got to do, because those people who pass those laws, they're not going to come and hydrate you and your family, when push comes to shove. So do what you got to do. I'm not advising anybody to break laws, but do what you got to do. But yeah, you can collect rainwater. Some people have rainwater barrels connected up to their gutter system. So when it rains, the water feeds down into the gutter system. Feeds down the gutter system into these rain barrels for water collection. So that's something you could think about. Also, 5-gallon buckets. You could go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get some 5-gallon buckets. And when it's raining outside, you can stick the buckets outside and collect the water, or you can stick those under your gutter. I remember in Texas, when they had that freakish winter storm, some people took the ice from the snow and the ice from outside, stuck it in the 5-gallon water buckets, and when it melted, they used that for water to flush their toilets. They purified it and drunk the water. So there's a lot of different things that you guys could do to ensure that you guys have enough water, that you're able to collect water, to prepare for these times. So let's talk about water purification. Do you guys know how to honestly purify water? Some people do, some people don't. There's a couple different ways that you can purify water. One, you can buy some water purification tablets. You can buy it online, you can buy it at Walmart or in most outdoor stores, Bass Pro or whatever. They should have water purification tablets. They have the directions on the water purification tablet packets to show you how to use those. You could also boil water, as they mentioned in the news story. Have you ever done it before? Boiled water to purify. I'm not talking about boiling water for a hot dog or boiling water, whatever on the stove, but got water from the outside source, whether it's rainwater, river water, pond water, brought it in, filtered it, boiled it to make sure that it's purified. You can use bleach to do that. So what I did for you guys, I went out to Clorox website and I have this link for you guys. I will leave it below in the description box. It says water purification, how much bleach to purify water for drinking. So you guys make sure you read this resource, and it's going to give you some idea about how much bleach do you need for water. For example, if you're using 1 quart of water, you need 4 drops of bleach to disinfect that water, to purify it. Make sure that you guys use non-scented bleach for this when you're purifying drinking water. I know some of you may have lavender bleach or lemon scented bleach. You do not want to use that for the drinking water sources that you want to use to purify. Use only non-scented bleach for that. Also, let's move to water filtration. Do you guys have a way to filter the water? For example, you could use life straw. Have you heard of a life straw? You can buy a life straw online at Amazon. You can go to Walmart. You can buy a life straw. It's a purification straw. And they also have life straw water bottles. I have maybe 15 life straws here at the house. Now, I don't need 15 life straws, but I have one as a backup to my backups. But for 2, I know there's some people in my neighborhood and in my community who don't have anything. They never heeded the warnings. And honestly, I don't want them to die of thirst. So if push comes to shove and my friends are in need, I have an extra water straw or 2 to hand out to them, even though I've told them to get prepared for these things. So just something that I had, on my mind, I got extra. Also, there's a big Berkey. I also have a big Berkey, which is a water filtration system. Now, the Berkeys are expensive. I will not lie. If a Berkey is not for you, there's other things that you could do, like a life straw, which is much cheaper when compared to a Berkey for water filtration. There's also the Sawyer water filters. I have that too. And there's Seychelles water filtration systems, or water bottles. I have all of it. I won't lie. I went out and I got a number of things because I just want to be prepared. I know one thing, that me and mine's, if we die, it won't be because of thirst, because I have water. I know how to purify water. I know how to collect water. And I want you guys to be in that same situation that I am, to have the tools to be able to get it done. Now, having the tools and having the experience to do it or the training to do it is two different things. Training always trumps gear. So make sure that you go out there and you try, these things. Build a fire outside. Do you guys know how to build a fire? Build a fire, collect some water, and purify it. Or, do the easy route. Go outside, collect some water, bring it back inside, put it on your stove, and purify it. You guys should practice that and know, what that scenario looks like. So when it really happens, it'll just become routine, and you won't be, uh, uh, afraid or in a fearful state of mind. You have the skills to survive. In January of 2019, in 20-degree freezing cold weather outside, I took a wilderness survival course. And this wilderness survival course taught me a lot. We cooked food by building a fire and cooking by the fire. We also didn't have cabins or anything. We had to build our own shelter, and put our sleeping bags in there, in that shelter, and sleep that way. Mind you, it was 20 degrees outside. It was freezing cold. And I was in the wilderness, sleeping like that, with a group, learn how to survive in the wilderness. We found a river. We loaded up water from the river. We brought it back to the campsite. We built the fire, and we purified it. Now, I also had water bottles in my backpack. So I drank that water instead of drinking the purified water that I did from the river. But we had to do this multiple times so it could become second nature to learn how to purify water. Also, another thing, when class first started, I remember the cadre or the instructors, they gave us a sheet of aluminum foil, and they gave us a Ziploc sandwich bag that was a little bit less than half filled with rice. And I'm thinking, okay, what is this for? And they told everybody to keep it, to not lose it, that it's going to come in handy later on. We worked all the way through lunch. We didn't even have lunch, doing land navigation, learn how to build fires, and a whole bunch of other things that we were doing. Of course, we walking and moving around and doing a lot of things, so I was starving. At around maybe 5 o'clock or so, they were like, all right, it's time to start building our shelters before it get dark and build a fire so we could, eat dinner. And the instructors, they pulled out all of this meat, deer meat, all kind of other meat. They pulled it out. It was raw, of course, that they, brought from the grocery store and stuff like that. And they said, all right, you could cook it by sticking a tree branch through it and dangling it over the open campfire, or you could just wrap it in aluminum foil and stick it in the coals. And so I chose the second way. I wrapped my meat in the aluminum foil, stuck it in the coals, and cooked it that way. But then we also had to bring canteen cups. And we took the canteen cup, we put the rice in it, we poured water in it, and we stuck the canteen cups into the fire and cooked the rice. Of course, we didn't have spoons, so I took a tree branch, I used my knife, I carved it, sort of like a spoon, and I ate it that way. And so we was in the woods for a couple of days, just learning all these skills and doing these things. And we did this stuff every day. We woke up in the morning, got the campfire rolling again, cooked some more food that way. Primitive skills, I guess. And we just learned a lot of stuff. And so I have those skills. And you should have those skills too. You don't necessarily have to go to a wilderness survivor class in the freezing winter to learn these things like I did. But I want to get out there and test myself to make sure that I can survive. I already know I can survive in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, but can I survive in the dead of winter, in the middle of the woods with nothing? And I took a class to teach me those skills. So it's just some good skills to have, and I've taught, some people in my family those skills as well. I passed some things down to show them how to build fires and stuff like that. But that's all I have for you guys today. Just want to make sure I was able to share some stuff with you to help you and your family out and your loved ones, whoever that may be. I'm going to leave you guys with a clip from City Prepping on about some of the things that I just talked about: water storage, water purification, water filtration. And until my next video, guys, thank you guys. God bless to you and your family. I love you guys. You guys stay safe out there. Stay alert. Also, my backup channel will be coming up. So, and hopefully in the next video or two, I will give you guys the link to that as well, so you can subscribe to it. In case Harvest is Plenty is taken down, I will reappear on another channel, and I'll get that information out to you guys soon. So take care. God bless.
Smallest bacteria is about 0.2 microns, whereas the smallest virus is about 0.004 microns. Now, most of the portable water filters on the market can filter down to very small sizes, and we'll discuss that along with more advanced forms of filtration and purification. I'll try and present a few affordable options that anyone serious about water filtration can afford along with the system we use at home. These filters we'll discuss are for freshwater and not for saltwater. So let's talk about the first one, the Sawyer Mini. These can be used as gravity filtration, meaning you can hang it upside down and it will filter the water. They say they are 0.1 micron absolute, in other words, tested under absolute conditions. They're rated to filter 100,000 gallons. They're a very reputable company with good reviews, and I'll provide a link in the description below if you want to find out more. And they only run for about $20, which is a pretty good deal. Now, they have no pre or post filtration or any carbon in them. Also, they don't handle filtering out herbicides or pesticides. Now, they'll filter out a lot of pathogens, bacteria, protozoas, cryptosporidium. It's also important to note they don't filter viruses. On their website, they say this: in North America, we do not have concerns about viruses in our water. They simply cannot survive. Viruses derived from contaminated human sewage die shortly after entering a body of water. Third world countries, outbreaks have occurred due to poor treatment of sewage. That's what they say. If you're concerned about addressing the issue regarding viruses, apart from boiling the water, you'll need to consider chlorine or iodine. I carry these iodine tablets in our personal bug out bags. Second one is the Life Straw. These are rated to 0.2 microns. They're rated to filter 220 gallons. They work a lot like the Sawyer water filter. You just suck the water through. And the primary difference between this and the Sawyer Mini is the Life Straw has a pre-filtration filter on the end, as you can see here, and it's supposedly designed to help remove sediment from murky water. Now, these personal filters, they will filter Salmonella, E. coli, cholera, protozoa, Giardia, but they won't deal with herbicides or pesticides and other chemicals that can easily contaminate your water supply. For many of us that live in an urban environment, or even those that live in the countryside with farms in their area, the threat of water contamination can be very real from runoff. So, what's the next step if you're looking for something that could easily handle a bit more when it comes to water filtration, especially when it comes to dealing with contaminants, which we just discussed? This is where a Berkey water filter comes in. These powerful systems, they purify both treated water and untreated raw water from such sources as remote lakes, streams, and stagnant ponds. The black water filter option that you can purchase for these, they can filter down to 0.2 or 0.3 microns. They're very popular with those that work in remote areas of undeveloped countries where electricity, water pressure, or treated water may not be available. These systems, they're designed to remove pathogenic bacteria, cysts, parasites, and extract harmful chemicals such as herbicides, pesticides, VOCs, organic solvents, and just a bunch of other nasty stuff you don't want in your water. We personally went with this setup because I've read so many stories and testimonies online where people have lived and worked in hostile environments, including those serving in the military, that have relied upon these to purify their drinking water, and they swear by these things. I think that was what sold me. Now, one of the other popular options, of course, is boiling water. If you don't have a water filter, there's always the option to boil water, but this doesn't address the issue of contaminants in your water. Obviously, it also uses fuel, which adds labor to the equation whenever you're having to prepare your water. Also, there's the option of bleach. Now, bleach is often cited when it comes to discussions regarding water purification. A few things, though, you need to know about bleach. Bleach will deteriorate over time. It's not the best idea to have in your storage, in your preps, but if that's all you have, then obviously use it. Also, you might want to consider using calcium hypochlorite, or as it's commonly known, pool shock. Pool shock can do the same job as bleach. But the advantage is you can store it for a long period of time, whereas bleach will deteriorate over time. As long as you keep it dry, it won't. You can take a specific amount of pool shock, mix it with water, and now you got a solution that can serve as a water purifier. Whereas bleach will break down with sitting for extended periods of time. As long as you keep pool shock dry, it won't. So for many preppers, this is a very popular option to have in storage.